Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is David and I am a handbag lover. So this is a channel where we talk mostly about handbags and accessories. So if that's something you think you would like or be interested in watching, please hit that subscribe button and comment below. Let me know what you like, what you want to see. If there's anything in particular you want to see, as I talked about in my very first video, I try to do bags that I don't feel like a lot of people have. I like trendy bags, don't get me wrong, but majority of my collection are bags that I don't see a lot of people carrying. So if that's something that you find interesting, subscribe, stick around, and let's do this together. So today I'm going to talk to you about one of my favorite bags, and as you'll learn from I think every video so far and probably every video in the future, every bag is my favorite bag. There's not a bag that I don't love. If I don't love it, I won't own it. I love all of my bags the same, from my most expensive Louis Vuitton and Prada to my least expensive no-name bags that I have sitting on my shelf. Everything in between. Love them all. That's why I'm here. That's why I buy them. This is what I do. So I'm going to talk to you about one of my favorite vintage Louis Vuitton bags. And it's this bad boy right here. Now I'm probably going to butcher the name of this bag. I have it written right here. This is the Louis Vuitton Saleya PM, and that's spelled S-A-L-E-Y-A. Like I said, I'm probably saying it wrong. This is a vintage bag, hasn't been made in quite some time. I haven't seen a lot of videos on it, especially in this size. So I'm here to talk about it because I think it deserves it. Quick story time on how I acquired the bag and why I purchased it and all of that stuff. So when I purchased my very first Louis Vuitton, which was also in the Damier Ebene, my Speedy 30 bandolier, I really like the Speedy. I like the history behind the Speedy. The Speedy is very special to me. It was my first brand new purchase. It's a bag I'll never get rid of. But I realized pretty quickly that I'm not a big fan of that for an everyday bag. That is a great bag if I'm going somewhere where I need to carry quite a few items, or honestly even as a car trip bag, because you can shove a lot in it and then bring a smaller bag to carry daily or something. So I wanted something similar to that, but I wanted something that was a little bit easier to get in and out of, and something that was a little bit more structured, especially around the bottom, because we all know the Speedies are not structured at all on the bottom. So I started looking. I had it narrowed down between two bags, both of which were vintage. The only bag that Louis Vuitton makes right now that I would consider purchasing for this is the Louis Vuitton Iena, and I'll put a picture right up there. It's a cute bag, but I also think it reminds me a lot of the Coach Outlet Gallery Tote. Also put right there. Now, as you know, I have no opinion on brand. I like all brands. I don't care what they are. If I like the bag, I'll buy them. But in this case, since these bags are so similar and I think they serve a very similar function, I would probably prefer the Coach bag over the Louis Vuitton and save thousands of dollars. I also am not a big fan of the strap, and I'm not a big fan of the little tassel-y pull thing. So for those reasons, I kind of vetoed that bag. To me, it just wasn't worth the price for what I was going to get. Also, the straps, wasn't sure if they would work for me, you know, and for the price, like I said, it just wasn't something that I was sold on. So I fell in love with the Saleya, gosh, I know I'm butchering that, and the Totally PM, which I'll put up here. Now, the Totally PM is a great bag. It is definitely more of a shoulder bag, less of a crook of arm or top handle, because the straps are definitely much longer. But I really like this bag. I like that it's a little bit floppy, but yet still a little bit structured. It's a little bit of a thinner bag. I love the PM size. Definitely the MM and GM would be way too big if they make a GM. I know they make a PM. I do like that this comes in all three of the canvases, the Azure, the Ebene, and the Monogram. And I don't know if I've mentioned this before, my favorite Louis Vuitton print is the Ebene. It's the closest to the very original Louis Vuitton print, and I like that you don't have the untreated vachetta leather. I like that you have this treated leather. These bags are carefree. You don't have to worry about them at all. So I knew I didn't want the monogram or the Azure for the same reason. I really want an Azure piece, but I hate that it has the exposed vachetta, so I knew that wasn't gonna work for me. But I would have settled for any of the three. And I started looking at those bags, and I was finding them in the price range that I had kind of set for myself. I know I mentioned before in my first video, but when I go to buy bags, especially pre-loved, I do a lot of research on price. What did they cost new if they are no longer made? If they are made, what do they cost new now? What do other third-party resellers have them for sale for? You know, what do Facebook groups, if anyone has any for sale, what are they going for? And by doing that, I kind of come up with a price in my head based off what would I pay. I also throw in their comparables. For example, with the Iena, there are other brands that make bags that are similar. So would I rather spend $200 or less on a Coach bag or $1,800 to $2,000 on a Louis Vuitton bag that are very similar, will serve same functions, you know? So for that, when I calculate what I'm willing to spend, and I knew I wanted to be under $1,000, my target price was about $750 to about $850 is what I wanted to spend on one of these bags. That being the Iena or the Saleya. And the Saleya only comes in a bin and Azure with the vachetta handles on the Azure. So I started looking, did a little bit more research, watched the few videos I could find on both of these, and after that I learned that though a really cute bag, unless you get the bin, which I couldn't find any for sale at the time for under $1,000. The straps get really dirty. I don't know if it's the oils here. I don't know if people are carrying them on the crook of their arm and the oils, but they look really gross. They turn very, very dark and not like a honeycomb vachetta, you know, aged leather. It's like dirt. So I was finding them in my price range between $750 and about $900, most of them, but the condition just was not what I wanted for the price. So I shelved the love for the Totally PM and I decided to focus on the Saleya and couldn't find any. I looked and looked and looked. The few that would come on were typically Azure and they were rough. They were stained. The vachetta was horrible. The little pull tabs on the ends here were just all beat up and frayed and curved and really bad corner wear, which just isn't for me. So I decided to shelve it. And I would say I shelved that for probably about 6 months. I just stopped looking. You know, I'd glance on Fashion File every couple of days and I'd favorite a few and see if they go down in price, but they typically sell out. There's not a ton of them. I looked just last night, there's only one available right now, and it's in the Azure, and it's pretty rough. And it's over $1,000 now. So, flash forward, we go into one of our favorite retailers, Von Maur. If you don't know what it is, it's kind of like a Nordstrom's, a fancier Dillard's, and they have the what comes around goes around section. I also put a link to their website. It's very similar to Fashion File. They have brick and mortar locations inside of some of these retailers. Dillard's has them, I believe Macy's has them, and Von Maur's have them. I'm sure there's other stores. I know they also have their own storefronts, I believe, and online presence. They were one of the first ones I remember ever seeing, and I know they always pride themselves on having, you know, grade A merchandise. They don't sell bags that are worn. They don't sell bags that are in bad condition. Personally, I've seen some there that are, so I think like everything, you know, Fashion File does it too. There's bags that are rated good or poor, and there's bags that are rated brand new, and everything in between. Now, I have purchased one item from what comes around, and I'll do a video on that. That's my Prada Staffiano leather wallet. And anyway, we went to the store, and I always walk by the case. I look at the bags. Sometimes I just get ideas of what I want. Like I said, I've only purchased one item there. I think they are extremely overpriced, in my personal opinion, for what you get. I know the instant gratification of picking it up and leaving the store with it is probably worth a little bit more. But in my opinion, sometimes it's thousands of dollars more than purchasing on Fashion File and waiting 2 days for it to ship to my house. So I usually look at bags that I'm eyeballing. For example, if there's a bag that I've never seen in person and they have one, I'll go look at it. And then I know, okay, well, I'm gonna keep my eye out for it and I'll add it to my list. They had one of these in the damier bin, and I went up to the counter and You know, I asked if I could see it. I read the tag. It was the PM size, so I could confirm. And it was in rough shape, I'll be honest. It had extreme corner wear. These tabs were all curled up. There was some slight scratching on the handles, nothing crazy there. And then the inside was covered in pen, and it just was very well worn. Whoever used that bag definitely used it a lot. So I knew just based off the condition it wasn't something I was willing to purchase. But before I looked at the price tag, I kind of told myself, maybe $1,000, because I feel like that's what Fashion File would have maybe listed it for at the absolute most. It was over $1,500, $1,500 and change. It was not cheap. And my husband at the time was like, is that a good deal? You know, basically, do you want to buy it? And I told him, you know, I'll think about it. I never want to be rude to the associates. It's not their fault. The items are priced as they are. And we walked away, and I told him absolutely not. I said that is about probably $800 more than the most expensive one in the same condition on Fashion File. So I decided, though, since I saw the bag in person, I really liked it. I knew it was one I want to add to my collection. I started hitting the pavement on Fashion File, and every day I would go search. I would favorite a bunch of them. I knew I wanted the Eben, so I was strictly looking for the Eben. Maybe every couple of days you'd see a new one pop up, and I favorited a bunch, and then I kind of stopped again because they just didn't pop up very often. And I got a notification, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 weeks later, that there'd been a price decrease on something I loved. And I clicked on it, and it was this. And I forget what the original price was. I think maybe it was listed for like $1,000 or $900, and it was $1,000, I think. And they had lowered the price to $875. I have it written right here. So $875. And I examined the listing. It was listed as excellent condition. I looked at the photos. It mentioned a little bit of tarnishing on the zipper pull, which there is. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but at the base there's just a little bit of tarnish. And it was listed with a little bit of slight scratching on the hardware, which it's metal. And this bag is from 2006, so yes. And then light corner wear. And I'm gonna see if I can get this to photograph for you. So like right there, there's just a little white nubbin from a little bit of light rubbing, nothing crazy. And then all of the other sides are perfect. The bottom, considering this says no feet, perfect, not a scratch on it. So got it in the mail, examined it, was super excited. And one of my biggest pet peeves on bags is odors and handle wear and interior. These handles, I know they're not gonna show. These look brand new. Whoever owned this bag did not carry this bag. I guarantee you this is from a shelf, like rubbing against the wall when it was displayed. So I store my bag stuffed. I have my little air purifying pouches that I love. I'll try to link those below if I can find them. Bubble wrap. And then the inside of this bag, which I know you're not gonna be able to see very well. I'm gonna try to make this as clear as possible. This bag is brand new on the inside. This is the microfiber lining. It's in the color red, and there is not a mark on this bag. There is not an odor in this bag. What really dates these bags is the cell phone pocket right here. And then you have just another little slip pocket, and then the rest of it is an open hole. And this bag is great because even though it's a base, it doesn't sag. Like, I'm pushing on it pretty hard and it doesn't sag. So I love it. But yeah, $875. I couldn't believe it. And like I said, whoever used this bag, they either A, didn't use it at all, or they were just really good with their bags, kind of like I try to be with mine. So here she is, the Saleya PM. Love. The opening is huge, which is something the Speedies kind of struggle with. I mean, you can get anything in there. You don't have to worry. Also these tabs, something with the condition that I was excited about. I don't know if it's that photograph, not a scratch on them. They're flush. Same over here. This is a made in France piece. Flush. I mean, this bag is in great condition. It's a little saggy when it's from storage. which is to be expected with these bags. The lining is not attached fully. It's sewn in, but not attached. So even if you stuff the bag really well, you're never going to be able to push these out. It's kind of like the Terrain. So anyway, I was just really excited to find this. And this has been one of my favorite go-to bags. I like how carefree it is. I love my Terrain, but I'm nervous using it because of the vachetta. So I use this a lot more. The only negative I can really think of this bag is the handle straps. So real quickly, I'll give you the dimensions. I have it written right here, so I'm gonna look down. 10 inches across by 9 inches tall. And it's about 5.5, 6 inches wide. Handle drop is about 5 inches. The problem I have with these handles is I think personally it's a little long for over the arm or crook. But then for me, it's not long enough. My arm pit is here. I can't get it past, probably about another inch or two. And a good indicator for me on a bag's length is when I stand up. I'm about 6'1", and I'm not gonna stand up right now because you don't need to see this. If it doesn't touch the ground, if I have about 3 inches before the bag is going to touch the ground, I'm okay with it. And this bag meets that test. So, like I said, not a huge complaint, but the only little one I have. I have heard some people don't like the old school cell phone pockets from, 2006. It's great for me. I can shove a thing of Kleenexes in there, something similar to this size. Will fit right in there, no problem. I don't like to put pins. I have pins in my catch-all in case they leak. But I mean, you can put a ton in here. This bag fits everything. I do not use an organizer with this bag. I think with the size and shape, not size, but the shape. Organizers don't fit. They not puncture, but they push on the bag in ways that I don't like. And for what these bags cost, I'm always very cautious. I guess I'll show you how I store it. I just have some bubble wrap, and this is not as thick as the bag. This is not as long as the bag. Again, you do not want to overstuff and stretch out these bags. So bubble wrap, I just put it in there. Be careful with the pockets. You don't want to stretch those out. Keep it in there. I just give it a good pat, 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 and that's what it looks like stuffed. And then I have my charcoal pouches. And I just throw it on top. And then I always look, is the zipper going to be stretched out? And there you can tell it's a little bit stretched actually. So I'm going to adjust just a little bit here, push stuff down a little. Perfect. So that is my review on the Saleya PM from Louis Vuitton. I will try to link some below that I can find for sale. Strictly through Fashion File, that's the only website I will use. So it's the only website I'll recommend. If you have any questions, add them below. I'll try to get to you. If you have this bag, tell me some things you love about it. What don't you like about it? What do you use with it? Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.